We all know that countless species have vanished over the last few centuries. But have you ever seen the last photo ever taken of one? Today, it's all about birds, animals that once filled the sky with color and song, now gone forever. I'm showing you the 7 final photos of extinct birds, the very last images snapped before they vanished. How many do you actually know? Stick around till the end to find out. Let's go. Number 7. Carolina parakeet. Look at the little green bird perched on the man's necktie. The photo is from 1906. His name was Doodles, and he was already one of the last of his kind. Doodles was a Carolina parakeet, the only parrot that ever lived wild in the eastern United States. A scientist named Paul Barch raised him from a helpless chick. The bird grew so tame that he liked to nap pressed against Barch's cheek, or curled up next to the family's pet squirrel. He wasn't a stuffed bird in a glass case. He was somebody's friend. But Doodles died in 1914, falling from his favorite perch above a doorway. Here's the part that stays with you. Doodles wasn't actually the last one. The final Carolina parakeet was a male named Incas, who died at the Cincinnati Zoo in 1918, in the very same cage where the last passenger pigeon had died 4 years before. No one ever took his picture. Therefore, the bird in this photo isn't the last of his species at all. The true last one slipped away with no camera in the room and no face left for us to remember. Doodles at least got a photograph. The next bird got something rarer and somehow sadder because someone caught it moving on film. Number 6. Imperial woodpecker. His name is William Rhine. He has traveled to the Sierra Madre of Durango, Mexico 3 times for this single moment. Today, he finds her, a female imperial woodpecker, 2 feet tall, with a black crest that curves forward over her head. She is the largest woodpecker that has ever lived. He raises his handheld camera. She climbs the trunk of a Durango pine. She forages. She launches into flight. 85 seconds of grainy color film. That is everything we will ever have of this species alive. Rhine thought the footage was poor, so he hid it in a drawer for more than 40 years. He died in 1999 without ever showing it to a single scientist. By the time his nephew handed the reel to researchers, the woodpecker was gone. But here is the part that hurts. The old-growth pine forest she's climbing in that film. It was logged out too, so she was filmed inside a world that has also vanished. It took an entire mountain forest to lose her. The next bird only needed an island. Number 5. Wake Island rail. Look how close it's standing. This little bird isn't afraid of the person with the camera. It had never met anything that wanted to eat it, so it walked right up. That fearlessness is the reason it's gone. The Wake Island rail lived on one tiny island, far out in the Pacific Ocean. For millions of years, nothing hunted it. Therefore, it never learned to run. In the 1930s, an airline built a tiny base on the island. Travelers saw these birds everywhere, curious and tame, walking right between their feet. One of them lifted a camera. This is one of the few pictures that survived, but the war found even this speck of land. Japanese soldiers took the island in 1941. American forces cut off their supplies. Therefore, food stopped coming. The men began to starve. The little rail, the one creature that had never feared a thing, was the easiest meal of all. 2 hungry men could catch them with bare hands. By 1945, every single one was gone. It survived millions of years of isolation. It survived having no fresh water at all, but it could not survive a hungry army in a war that had nothing to do with it. Our next bird didn't vanish in a war. It disappeared in a place we promised to protect. Number 4. Dusky seaside sparrow. This little bird is the last one. His name is Orange Band. He is a dusky seaside sparrow, old, half-blind, and completely alone, with not one other of his kind left alive on Earth. Orange Band was born in the salt marshes of Florida, right beside the launch pads of the Kennedy Space Center. To wipe out the mosquitoes there, people flooded those marshes. Therefore, his home slowly drowned beneath the water. By 1979, only 6 of these sparrows were still alive, but every single one of them was male. Workers carried the last few birds to a quiet island at Disney World, praying the birds might somehow breed. One by one, the other sparrows died. Soon, only Orange Band was left. In his final year, the keepers watched him hop alone through his cage, an old sparrow with one cloudy eye, waiting for nothing. The dusky seaside sparrow sang a song that no other bird on Earth could copy, but there were no females left to answer him. So Orange Band sang for a mate who would never come. When he died, died, the song went quiet for good. No living bird would ever sing it again. His song ended in silence, but far away, on a green mountain in Hawaii, another last bird was already running out of time. Number 3. Po'uli, one eye. That's the first thing you see. He's looking back over his shoulder, held in a stranger's hand, the very last of his kind. After this little bird, there were no more. This is a po'uli, a small brown bird with a black mask across its face. It lived in one rainy corner of Maui, nowhere else on Earth. People did not even discover it until 1973, so the world barely got to know it at all. By the late 1990s, you could count every living po'uli on one hand. The number kept dropping. It stopped at 1. This old male, blind in one eye. A biologist named Baker found him deep in the rainforest. He cupped the tiny bird in one hand. With the other, he took this picture, but it would not leave. From a branch a few feet away, it just stared at the man, as if asking what he was. A moment later, it slipped into the trees. Here is the part that stays with you. The po'uli was the quietest bird on that whole mountain. It almost never sang, so on the day the last one died, nothing in the forest fell quiet. The silence had already been there for years. He slipped away in silence. The next bird went out screaming, a brilliant blue parrot the whole world was sure it knew. Number 2. Spix's macaw. Look closely. This is the last wild Spix's macaw. For years, he was the only one of his kind left flying free. By the 1990s, every other wild Spix's macaw was gone, trapped for the pet trade, their forest cleared for farmland. So this single male was all that remained. The local people knew him by sight. He was their pride, the living symbol of their town. In 1995, scientists set a captive female free, hoping she would become his mate, but she vanished after only 7 weeks. Alone again, he did something that breaks your heart. He paired up with a bird of a completely different species, a small green macaw who could never give him chicks of his own kind. She was simply the closest thing to a partner he had left. Years later, someone wrote a song from that female's point of view. It imagined her waiting, season after season, for a mate who would never return. Because in October of 2000, the last wild Spix's macaw vanished for good. The skies over Curacao went quiet. He was always one of the rarest birds that ever lived. The next one was the opposite. There were once billions of them. Number 1. Passenger pigeon. Her name was Martha. This is one of the last pictures of her alive. When the shutter clicked, she was the only passenger pigeon left on Earth. She lived behind glass at the Cincinnati Zoo. Crowds came to stare at the famous last bird. But Martha mostly sat still on her perch, so some visitors threw sand at her to make her move. A camera caught her here in 1912, 2 years before the end. In the picture, she looks small. Here is the part that hurts. Only 50 years earlier, her kind was the most common bird in America. The flocks were so huge they blocked the sun for hours, sometimes for whole days. There were billions of them. Now look at the photo again. Everything left of those endless flocks was this one tired bird in a cage. On the 1st of September, 1914, around 1 in the afternoon, Martha died on the floor of that cage. She was the last. No living passenger pigeon was ever seen again. 7 birds, 7 last photographs. Each picture is the final time anyone would ever see that animal alive. So take a long look, because these images are all we have left of them now.